Hello, 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 my lovely, lovely friends. Thank you for joining me here on A Journey in Light. My name is Joy. Hello. Today's pick a card. We are going over what do you need to hear. This is kind of like an open message to the universe, your guides, angels, whatever you want to call it, on messages that you need to hear, to take in, to implement in your life. I'll be using a combination of tarot cards and oracle cards to get the messages across. This is actually a really, really good time if you feel drawn to more than one, to watch more than one, because there's going to be a lot of nuggets of gold throughout this entire reading. So feel free to watch more than one if you feel drawn to. So I have 4 piles for you today. Pile 1, I had the Santa Muerte tarot deck, and this beautiful piece of selenite with this etched mandala. Pile 2, I have the Cosmic Slumber Tarot, and this amazing Himalayan quartz cluster that was just sent to me from Nepal. Thank you, Sanita. Pile 3 is the Tarot of the Curious Creatures and one of my favorite brass flowers. It's been around since the beginning. And pile 4, we have the Lightseers Tarot with this beautiful piece of Othoceros. So take a deep breath, go with whichever pile you're drawn to the most. Again, if you're drawn to more than one, feel free to listen to more, because again, I'm opening this up to my guides and any information that needs to come in for you to hear for your highest good, for some peace, for well-being. And I'm not really sure what's going to come through yet, but I'm just being an open channel for what the collective and you guys and whatever pile you're drawn to the most needs to hear. So again, pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4, and the timestamps will be in the description box below. Also, at the end of the reading, I will do a overview of every deck used, including the oracle decks, if you're interested to see what decks were used in the channel. That'll be underneath the piles and a timestamp as well. So I'll leave these up for a moment, guys, and I'll see you at your pile. Bye, guys. Hello, 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 my lovely friends for pile 1. You guys picked the Santa Muerte Tarot and this beautiful piece of selenite with this etched mandala. I'm pretty sure I got this from a website called Zen and Meow, like a cat, meow. But pretty cool. I have this one and another one. Just wanted to say a butterfly just flew by my window, so I'm thinking that's a good sign for your guys' reading. So today it's just kind of like an open message reading to the universe, your guides, your angels, basically anything you need to hear right now, anything you need to keep in mind, possibly some things to implement in your life. This is a general reading, and there were lots of piles, so if not every little thing might not pertain to you, but if you're drawn to the pile, you definitely need some of the messages in here. But if you feel like it's going to a point where it doesn't quite fit for you, feel free to pick another pile or a different reading. No big deal. So first off, we have the Emperor. We have a 10 of Pentacles. We have the 10 of Wands. We have a 4 of Cups. We have an Ace of Pentacles. And the bottom of the deck energy, you guys have an 8 of Swords. So we're going to be talking about your guys' thoughts and limiting beliefs. So just be aware of that. Next, I'm going to pull your guys' oracle cards and put those down. We have Learning. We have Spiritual Connection. A relationship has a connection that goes beyond this lifetime. We have Miss Hebe Hoot. Being weird is a side effect of being awesome. We have soul time. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. The one that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Let your personality shine. You have something no one else has that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. We have inner temple, life lessons. I go within my shadow for deep spiritual growth. Trying to fit all these in here. Sorry, guys. Doing a new kind of format and trying to make it pretty and functional. So let me move these up a tiny bit. Thank you for your patience. We have healing. We have love. Live your truth and share the love that's in your soul. And we have a release. All right, pretty sure most of these, I'm going to go over them, are in shot. All right, pile one, what do you guys need to know? If you've been battling some, self-doubt, some thoughts about like, I don't know how this could work. I know manifestation is a big buzzword. I mean, it's been a buzzword for a long time, but so many people are working on manifesting things. And sometimes you have these big ideas and you're like, I don't know how that could work. There's this reminder here to let you know that the how isn't your responsibility. The putting the desire out to the universe, the butterfly just flew back by, guys. Anyways, it's a yellow and black butterfly if anyone wants to know. But the how isn't necessarily your job. You're putting out the desire and then making actions in the steps of what you want. And having that feeling that it's yours is really what you need to do. But stop worrying about the hows or this just seems impossible. Basically, there's this big message about like you're blocking your own blessings from coming in by thinking that either you don't deserve it or that it's impossible for you or impossible for you, impossible for you in your life, or it seems too good to be true. Those kind of things. I'm being guided to just ask you to just try to quiet those voices in your head, to quiet those self-doubts, to quiet this feeling of, I don't really deserve this. This is really coming in a lot with some of the cards here. If this has been something that you've been working through and you're starting to step into your power, you really need to lean into the power of who you are. We have this beautiful Emperor here. The Emperor is ruled by Aries, or it represents the Aries card, which rules the first house. So this is a house of owning yourself, being self-focused. There is a difference between being self-centered and self-focused. This is a time that you need to be putting yourself first, your own wants, your wishes, all of that. If you have guilt around that might be some of the shadow that we'll get to that you need to unpack a little bit. But just know that there's so much wealth and abundance in who you are, in the uniqueness that you are. Again, these messages are all very correlated here. It's really quite beautiful. I'm so excited about this pile here for you guys. But you have so much abundance. I think it's just around the corner. If you've been in this like cycle where you're like, I keep trying, I keep hitting a wall. I'm seeing that graphic. I know there's this cartoon where it shows this cartoon guy and he's like digging. And like, there's like a diamond. I don't know if anyone else has seen this, but there's like a diamond, but he stops, like he's been digging forever and he stops right before the diamond. It's like, you're at that last little piece of like breaking through that wall to get to what you've been wanting. So I'm hearing just keep moving forward. I know it's been heavy. I know it's been hard. I know you felt the weight on the world on your shoulders at time. And sometimes you just feel like almost like getting apathetic to a point where like, this is just never going to happen. Like I keep going and going and going and trying, and it just doesn't seem to work out, you know, but just around this corner is this new beginning, this new tangible beginning. But one of this, like the biggest block you guys have is very much just your disbelief that it could even happen for you. So just be mindful of that. I get that it's like the go-to, the fallback when you've been trying for things and they're not working. You're just like, well, what's the point? The point is it's really right there. Like it's really within reach. It's just right around the corner and you guys are so close. So for a moment right now, I want you guys to stop, take a deep breath in, out, through the nose, out through the nose, and be proud of yourself. Like, I don't know if you guys have given yourself credit for everything you've done. You guys have been working, putting through, pushing through. This is going to look at lots of ways. A lot of people have been addressing their shadows, working through things, trying really hard, learning, growing, striving. And you're just like at that point where you're like, has it all been for nothing? No, it's right there. Just keep moving forward, but be so proud of yourself every step of the way. You know, don't just be proud of yourself when you get there. Be proud of yourself for every little thing that you've taken a step towards where you need to go. And I know a lot of us, we have moments where we take steps forward and we fall down and we feel like, oh, well, I messed it all up. But you know what? You've gotten back up. You've kept pushing forward. The fact that you're watching this means that you still have hope for beautiful things to come in your life. So just keep going and be so proud of yourself. Like really take a moment and look at how far you've come, everything you've done, everything you've mastered in this life, and really honor yourself. Have grace for yourself, but also honor yourself. Like you are doing the things. You are, just by getting up and breathing and opening your eyes in this challenging world, you are doing big things. All of our paths look a little different than each other, so no need to compare and be like, well, you know, all I did today was just sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix. You know what? That might be exactly what you need. Rest days are just as important as productive days. Anyone who knows like that works out or lifts weights and stuff like that knows that actually the rest days sometimes are more important than the doing days. Just make sure you're having some doing days, you know? So sometimes we do have to like get ourselves up and be like, okay, I've rested enough and let me move forward. This just reminded me of a conversation I had with a good friend last weekend. When we were talking about not having motivation or resting and allowing ourselves to rest, or when you have guilt around allowing yourself to rest. The question you need to ask yourself in those moments where you're like starting to feel guilty, go, do I really need this right now? And that instant thing, if you have like a yes, then allow yourself that rest. If you're like, well, you know, then your soul's like, okay, let's get up and go. So that's a good question to ask yourself. But if you are resting, try to throw away the guilt around that and just enjoy it. And again, if your rest day, if you need to just binge watch a show that you love or read a book that you love or stare at the wall, whatever that looks like, just if you ask yourself that question, do I need this right now? And it's yes, then just trust that and honor that and be okay with that. And ask yourself, like, you know, after your period of time's up, do I still need this moving forward or the next day or whenever that may be? But it's a good way to check in with yourself. So, but just know that you guys are on the edge of big things coming. So another message that's coming in is about learning. But we have this child here and it's looking at this little ladybug, which are known for being good luck, right? So luck is on your side, but I'm hearing approach learning with a childlike wonderment, as in like with fresh eyes, like even if it's a subject you think you know everything about, like you don't, especially like this, I mean, you could, sorry, I don't mean it like that, but like if you ask any like super wise person, if they know everything, they're probably going to tell you, I know nothing. So that's like when we get out of our ego and realize that we can always learn, we can always grow. But sometimes it's putting on that, childlike enthusiasm, or tapping into that. As we learn more, you can see more. Because if we go into things like, oh, I already know everything, blah, 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 then you're putting up walls against learning more things. There's so much perspective. There's so many different nuances within things that we can learn if we choose to see it that way. But it is our perspective. It is our perception of the situation. It's our willingness to grow and learn. So make sure when you are approaching things that there's always something new to uncover. There's always something new to learn. If you have lessons that keep repeating in your life, sometimes it's a good reminder to go, okay, well, I'm just learning another layer of this. Like if you've uttered those words, why does this keep happening? There's a couple reasons. It's either there's something deeper you need to understand about the situation, or sometimes you're being put through not necessarily a test, but you're being tested to see if you've learned the lessons this far. If it keeps happening, it's time to change how you've been doing, because obviously the pattern that you've run before isn't working for you. So let's, shift things. But I think that's just opening up to realizing that there's so much more to learn in things and learn in life. And it's okay if you hit this thing again that you're like, you thought you mastered. Well, you know what? Maybe you're just getting your doctorate in it now. And if you can shift the perspective, you might not hit resistance against it. Because if it's coming back up, there is something else that needs to be uncovered there. And if you hit it with this anger, or this I'm not doing this, or grr, or whatever, coming in with, and that's usually coming from ego, you're bringing resistance to it, and you're just going to keep hitting that wall. And how many times are you going to keep hitting your head against the wall until you're like, wait, okay, there's something else I need to do. And maybe it's just to look at it from a new angle. So we have spiritual connection. So I think in this group, there's a lot of you guys that have spiritual type connections in your life. As in you feel them so more intensely than others. Sometimes those are harder to differentiate between each other, but there's a message that's been coming up a lot in readings from my guides, and it's just because we have these spiritual connections, whatever label you want to throw on them, it doesn't mean it has to be, we have to make it more important than other connections. Just recognize that it's special, and that's cool, and maybe that's all it's meant to be. And you resonate with this person because you possibly had past lives with them. You've done this before. You guys signed a soul contract. You have here to balance out some karma, and I say this all the time, karma is not a bad thing. Karma is just balance. It's our lessons. It's the evening out of things. And that's why things come back up, because we're here to balance things out. So we have karma with pretty much anyone we have an intense connection with, and we're here to learn lessons from each other. That's also what that is. So just know that you have these spiritual connections, but be mindful as if you're making them more important than they should be, other than going, okay, cool. This is someone that I have this amazing connection with. Awesome, but don't put it on a pedestal, is kind of how this message is coming in. It doesn't have to be more important. Its importance comes from the amount of importance you put on it. So also keep that in mind. Things are as big as we make them sometimes. So be mindful if you're making something more important than it needs to be, even at this time. If something it's drawing you back and holding you back, that you feel the spiritual connection with someone, and if it's not bringing you your highest good at this time, then maybe it's not the time to deal with it. If you can remove yourself from it, there might be other things that you need to learn, that this connection is putting blinders on. So again, just keep those things in mind. If that doesn't resonate for you, let that go, but I think it's an important message to hear. So we have being weird as a side effect of being awesome. And this kind of goes with this emperor energy that comes in, where you're standing in your power, you're standing in your oneness, you're standing in who you are unapologetically, and really shining for the person that you are. We are all unique in our own ways, and that's what makes life freaking beautiful. And so you're beautiful. All your flaws make you that much more cool. If someone doesn't see it that way, they aren't your people. Let them go. Let them think what they want to think, because you're awesome. And that's the first step is recognizing how awesome you truly, truly are. So again, this card says being weird is a side effect of being awesome. And then we have let your personality shine. You have something no one else has that makes you who you are. Stop comparing yourself to others and allow your uniqueness to shine through. So you guys are this is just a beautiful time to really, really recognize how freaking amazing you are. You know, the fact that you even exist, like if you really look at like what it takes for life to be a life, it's amazing. Like it literally is amazing. And if you look at like the human body and all the stuff, and like we look at our brains and the neurons and how much that resembles the universe, like if you really dive into that and see how it is really amazing that 7 point something billion of us are here, but we're all different, like that's just, and to appreciate those things. Some people might think I'm cheesy right now, but if you can appreciate that and appreciate yourself, like you'll see life in a different way. And just like when we interact with people, like realizing that there are, again, 7+ billion people on this earth, and you have to think about all the little things that came up to connect you with that person that you saw today or you talked to today. Look at everything in your life and everything in their life that happened to get you guys together. Like how freaking cool is that? Like life can be really cool. I know there's so much crap. I know there's so much disheartening things. I know we get caught up in that, but if you can step back and be like, life can be really amazing, but we have to choose to see it that way. And I get not all the time, like for some of you guys, I might be saying this and you might not be in a space to hear me about that. That's okay. Because sometimes when you're down, you need to feel your feelings. We're going to talk about that too. But it's okay. But when you can, like if you need to stick that thought in your back pocket, please do. For when you're in a mood to hear it. But if you're not there right this second, don't worry about it. But just know that life is beautiful and you're important to a lot of people, more people than you probably realize. And that's because this unique, beautiful soul that you are. So make sure you honor that. Make sure you treasure that. Give yourself grace. Just if you're different, I'm very different. I'm a very strange soul, and it took me a long time to embrace that. And you know what? Not everybody gets me. A lot of people think I'm annoying. That's fine. The people that get me, my soul family, get me, see me, appreciate me. If you're not feeling seen in your life, then you might not be around the people that you need to be around. So just keep that in mind too, because your uniqueness should be honored and cherished and treasured. And that starts with you being able to see yourself that way. When I shifted my self-love, I'm getting tearful right now in a good way. When I shifted my own personal self-concept, the love I had for myself and didn't feel guilty about that, when I shifted how I viewed myself, I'm telling you the magnitude of souls that have gravitated into my life has been such an honor, and you guys watching this and hearing me has been part of my journey too. And sorry, it's such a beautiful thing. But if I would have let all my self-doubt, all my, all those bad things that I thought about myself, I never would have put this channel out. And I know maybe people that are newer, and I might not touch everyone, but I know because you guys comment, people write me emails, people send me amazing stuff. And by me stepping into my power of who I am, helped me touch so many people that if I didn't do that, that would have been like a disservice to everybody else. And even saying those words, I still deal with things like, God, I sound conceited right this second. Like that thought popped in my head. You have to let those things go and know that you are meant to be who you are, and where you feel drawn to go after that, because it's part of your life purpose. And if you don't step into that, look at all the people. Like if you're one of those people watching that I've affected you in some way, in some good way or a triggering way that have helped you grow, could you imagine if I didn't do that? So for you not stepping into your own uniqueness, to your own power, think of all the people that you need to help or may be affected by you that you can't even imagine. Like I never imagined any of this could have, that I could have even had anyone watch a video, much less thousands and hundreds of thousands of views over this time frame. It's very humbling, very honoring, but you don't even realize the impact you have just by being you. So really, really step into that. All right, I'm going to move past that thought. Obviously, it's a very passionate one of mine. So we have soul time. I'm going to reread this because I've forgotten everything else that's here. Whew, okay. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibilities of new reality to emerge. One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal, don't come at me, I can't get tongue-tied, body is immortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. So there's that quote. I have a hard time accessing my own personal thoughts when I'm channeling. Is it Carl Jung? Anyways, or no, it's somebody Lewis. Okay, anyways, sorry. It's like you are a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. So it's that kind of concept. People resonate with that or they don't. But basically it's realizing that you are bigger than just this body that you're in, and recognize that, yeah, this body may die. All the people, unfortunately, that we know are all eventually going to be gone, but we don't end. Like, we keep going. Our soul goes somewhere else. And again, this is not everyone's belief, and if it's not yours, that's fine. Do what resonates with you. You know, I respect you if you don't have the same views as me, but this is the information I know and I'm given by my guides, that we are limitless. We keep going. You know, this is just a little like dot on our timeline of our soul. So if you can look at your soul and all, like, if you could see it in a timeline, time doesn't exist, but we won't jump into that right now. But let's say we're looking at it in a linear fashion, just for this sake of describing it. We have to realize that your soul's lifetime might be like this long, and this lifetime that we're in right now might be a teeny little dot on that. So just know that, you know, this is just a dot in your soul's journey. Like, there is so much past this. So enjoy it while you're here, but don't also be fearful about like messing up. Like, it's just, you're here for the experience, and like your soul, it's like a beautiful, precious thing that each life, even though we have so many, but this is just a little fragment. So when you're stuck in a bad moment within this life, just know that it's literally like, you probably couldn't even see it on your timeline. Like, just know it's going to pass. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And you are timeless and limitless, and really, really lean into like enjoying this life as much as you can. Okay, so we have love. It says, live your truth and share the love that is in your soul. So you guys have so much beauty, so much grace. I've already kind of touched on that. Really lean into that, own into that. We have release. So there's another message here about letting things go, letting your old self go. Really allow yourself to become this new version of yourself that you've been working on. We have this like life lessons that go within my shadow for deep spiritual growth. Just honor that depth, those shadows. Try not to stay there too. Like, you no need to unpack your bags, but at the same time, experiencing all those different levels of ourselves, those levels of emotions, are all very important. You know, there is such a thing as toxic positivity. So I never want to promote ignoring the totality of our emotions ever. Like, though, like anger is just as important as joy, you know? So like really feeling into those, not saying you have to act on the negative ones, but recognizing that is part of what makes us a whole. And part of our balance is really experiencing that full range and allowing ourselves, even if we just are journaling about it, you know, the lower vibrational emotions aren't very fun, but if you never address them, they show up in different ways. Like, if you don't actually feel your emotions or allow yourself to experience some of those heavier emotions, again, even if it, like a lot of people journal, and the reason is it's a very constructive way to work through those lower vibrational things. But if you don't allow yourself to feel those and process those, they're going to come up subconsciously, and they're going to show up in different ways, especially when you're in a moment where you're being like squeezed or pressured. If you tend to snap, and then you get mad at yourself, like, why did I react that way? Then there's some stuff inside you that needs to be addressed, and it's okay. But you really need to look at that. Like if you have like a quick temper and stuff like that, there's probably stuff in you that's like begging to be addressed, begging to be felt. And that's why it comes out when you're in like these moments of being squeezed. There's this analogy that I've heard from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he said, when you squeeze an orange juice comes out, because that's what's in an orange. So when you squeeze you, what comes out? And you have to be mindful and not to be mad at yourself, but like use that as a holy cow. If you have like a moment, and we've all had them, where for some reason you just react how like a little explosive, or like you're like, gosh, I don't know where that came from. Be like, well, it's stuff in you that you aren't working through or you aren't addressing. And so it needs to come out somehow. So it comes out in those moments. So just use that as okay, there's some stuff in here I need to unpack. There's some shadows I need to work on. You can Google shadow work questions. That's always a good part. I know there's cool journals and books and stuff like that. If that's your thing, rock on. If you want to do things for free, just look up or Pinterest shadow work questions. Pick some of those out that resonate with you. Pull out a piece of paper and write it down, and then ask yourself that question, and then write your answer, and then look at your answer, and then dig a little deeper and dig, well, where did that come from? What period of my life? Why did I feel that way? Is that feeling a truth? Do I need to hang on to that? Can I let that go? How can I work through that? Those are all the things. Like literally, like I will write a line, and then I write a little arrow and ask myself a question about that line. And then I go a little deeper and go a little deeper. And sometimes my question is like, well, how do I fix this? And I'm like, I don't know yet. So I'll put that over to my guides. Can you guys send me information, people, whatever I need to do to heal this thing? I would love if you guys could bring that into my realm of existence or my thought process. And it's amazing the people all of a sudden that show up in my life. And I'm like, oh, this is what I need to do. I need to do a past life regression. And oh, there's Joey Labossiere. So that's how like things work for me. And so I think it can work for you. Your guides are always wanting to work on your side and work for your best interest. So feel free to lean into that kind of thing and to ask your guides for those kind of questions. And overall healing. I do want to notice that these candles are green. She's holding this green crystal, I believe. Oh no, she holds a green candle too here. So this is about healing your heart chakra. So some of this pain, some of that things we're talking about within yourself, this could be where that limiting belief comes in, is some things that are subconsciously like almost written on your heart chakra. Really, really look into that. Like what, I don't want to say what lies have you told yourself, but what old thought processes are you holding in your heart, old beliefs put on you that aren't serving you anymore, that maybe need to let go. So possibly look into doing some heart chakra meditations just to let that go. I'm going to pull one more card. This has gotten very longer than I expected, but I want to pull one more guidance card. This is the Shamanic Dream Oracle. At the end of this total reading, I'll have a option to, if you want to see all the decks that I used, I will be going over all the decks that were used today in today's reading. But to close this out, pile one, thank you guys for being here for so long. I'm going to pull a card for you guys. This is the overall guidance, that the last thing that pile one needs to hear from the universe. What do they need to know? What do they need to hear? Please. Beloved, radical acceptance, and look at that heart. All right, I'm going to pull out the book. Radical acceptance, card number 2. If I can find the page. All right, it says, beloved, the object of affection, radical acceptance, loving what is. When the beloved appears, it requires 100% of your heart, body, and soul. Don't try to squeeze the beloved into your schedule. Drop the busyness and receive the one you have been waiting for. Know that this card comes as a mirror to you, or to show you the divine within, and to invite your radical acceptance of everything you consider beautiful or ugly in your being. We've talked about this, honoring this beautiful, unique self that you are. The beloved may not be a person at all. It might be a business venture, a project, or an adventure calling your full attention. Love it. Let it light you up and give it your all. Surrender to this truth and know that you are gaining a passport to bliss, even when it feels like you're being consumed by the fire of the beloved. Do not hold back or be afraid, for you will emerge transformed. Surrender is the key. Allow yourself to be loved. Usher the harsh critic out the door. That's your Eight of Wands. And shut your eyes and ears to the judgment of others who have not been ignited by the divine blaze consuming you. For you will only attempt to douse your fire and leave you choking on the smoke. Be careful you are not seduced by false promises or falling prey to your extraordinary ability to sabotage your dreams and desires. Sink and sink into your heart and trust your sense of what is true, and you will know what to do. The true beloved is never false. Every gift proffered is valuable. Recognize the many faces of the beloved and welcome them into your heart. You will be so glad you did. Look at you guys with your heart on fire. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Again, if you're curious about the cards I've used, I'll be putting that at the end of this of the piles, a little synopsis on that. Also, I am available for personal readings if you want to look into anything in your life, spiritual, love, life, career, all the things in between. Feel free. You can reach out to me for a reading about that. The description, personal reading information is in my description box. And thank you guys so much. And I will see you guys in a future reading. Bye, guys. Hello, my lovely friends for pile 2. You guys picked this really awesome Himalayan quartz cluster. This was sent to me by a follower that lives in Nepal. Like, how amazing is that? Like, wow. So thank you, Sanita, for that. That's awesome. And we are going over what do you need to know right now. We basically am opening up this reading to any messages that need to come through from the universe, your guides, your angels, however you want to phrase it. Anything you need to hear, things that you need to keep in mind, possibly some things to implement in your life to live to your greatest and highest good. Please come in with an open mind. I don't know what's going to come up here, and so I'm not sure what messages are going to flow through, but I've connected with my guides, and I've just asked to be an open channel for anything you guys need to hear. So anyone drawn to this pile, there should be some sort of messages that you need to hear for yourself. This is a general reading, so not every little moment. If it doesn't feel right for you, that's okay. Just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But if you were drawn to the pile, then there is something in here. There's some nugget of truth that you need to hear, you need to understand about yourself, your situation, life. Again, I'm not sure. We're about to find out together. I'll be using a combination of tarot and oracle cards. For your guys' pile, I'm using the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. I'll also be using oracle cards. I think I just said that. And at the end of the reading, there is, if you're curious about the decks that I use, I will have that time slot as well, going over every deck that I used today in the reading. So let's get going here. All right, what does pile 2 need to know, please? What does pile 2 need to know? Ooh. So we have a Princess of Swords, so that's a Page of Swords. Woo. And my deck is falling all over the place. The Wheel of Fortune. We have the Princess of Pentacles. With the Hermit. King of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck, you guys have the Seven of Cups. And let me pull out your oracle cards. I'm doing my best to keep everything in frame. We have choice, very similar to the Seven of Cups. We have choose love. You always have a choice. Make yours with love. It's funny, you guys have choose, choice, Seven of Cups, conscious. Gratitude shifts awareness, changing the world you see before you. This is a card about perception, and then you guys have perception. The frequency of perception supports our natural curiosity, moving us beyond our comfort zone to find the edges of what we perceive as real and to take a good hard look at it. We have breakthrough to new dimensions. A new endeavor is on the horizon. Innovative energies want to burst forth into your consciousness. That word's popped up a couple times. We have Electra, the Amber Star, let go, surrender and allow. I surrender and allow myself to grieve. That's going to be a fun message. We have Strength. We have Light. It is time to reveal your radiant light to the world. And we have Creation. I don't know how I did this on pile 1 where these all fit, but we're just going to stick that guy right there. Oh, yeah, okay, they all work. Okay, pile 2. Choices. You guys have a lot of things going on. Your mind could be really caught up in, am I making the right choice? Am I doing the right thing? Am I going on the right path? There could be so many options, or you may feel like there's no options, or you just don't have clarity on which way to go in life right now. You may be feeling a little pulled in lots of different directions. We did have the 7 of Swords sitting right under here. So 7-7 may be important for some of you guys. The angel number, which is the number of divinity. So, the message I'm getting about this is make sure you're being honest with yourself and others about what it is that you want. When you have all these choices, when you have all these directions, when you have all these things pulling at you, and these might not feel like actual choices that you have. You may feel like pulled in so many different directions and you don't know which way to go, and you may be feeling overwhelmed, or you felt overwhelmed about these choices or these things or all this stuff. You're being guided to really, really be honest with yourself about what do you want? What is it that you want? Like, what choice do you want? What nudges are pulling you? And if you're not quite sure, you really need to tap into your heart and choose what you love. Choose what lights you up. Choose what sets your soul on fire. If that fire has become so dim, it might be on how you're viewing things. Like if you're only seeing problems and obstacles and things like that, like if you're choosing, and I know this is a triggering thought. Sometimes we don't realize that when we focus on the negativity, you're just bringing more of that, and that's all you're going to see. Like when you like focus on an obstacle, you're just going to see all the reasons why you can't do something. If you focus on an opportunity, you're going to see all the ways that you can. And that's just a fact of life. That's just a perception thing. Like you can look at it in a manifesting way. You're like, if you focus on the good, you're going to get more good, but that's just a perception thing. Like, again, if you're looking for problems, you're going to find them. If you're looking for good, you're also going to find that. It's your choice what you decide to focus on, what you decide to look at. I know this is coming across really like kind of harsh. Hopefully you guys are receiving this well. If you're feeling triggered, feel free to investigate that a little bit. If you're like, who are you to tell me? Look at that, unpack that. We get triggered for a reason. If you feel like you resonate with me on a soul family level, I'm telling you, that's a gift. And this is to look at this is a random message, but it's coming in. If you feel triggered, or by your soul family about soul connections, that is part of the gift of our soul family, of the soul connections, soul level connections, whatever you want to label them. That is their gift, is to trigger us for ultimate soul growth. So feel free to be triggered by anything that comes up in this reading, but be objective enough to really look at it from a soul perspective versus an ego perspective. I do this myself too, where you're like, no, and then you have to stop and you're like, wait a second. Can I get out of my own way for a second and look at this objectively? Maybe I need to hear this, or maybe I don't know this, or maybe I need to unpack this a little bit more. Maybe there's another layer to something I need to learn. Anyways, okay, but back to this message. If you're feeling pulled if you feel like you have your hands in too many buckets, if you feel like there's so much going on, it might need to be a time to simplify things, to bring things back to what you truly want and need and desire in your life, and to really focus in on that. You may still be feeling a little scattered at times. The Princess of Swords is our Page of Swords, so it's not like the most elevated version of our swords. It's not like we have a king or a queen sitting here, where you're very clear, crystal clear. This is like starting to get clarity. You're starting to understand your truths. You've been working on this. You've been really figuring out what drives you, all those things. But just know that the more you work on it, the more clear you're going to get. But also, it's okay to be unsure. Sometimes we still have to take a step forward if it's towards something that our heart is pulling us to, and understand that that's okay. It's scary, but it's okay. You guys have the Wheel of Fortune. So just know things are shifting and moving in your favor. Your luck is going to change. I'm hearing embrace it. Like if somebody, I don't know if someone out there has a fear of actually being successful. I know that sounds silly, but we all do it. We all self-sabotage, because what does that success mean? Does that mean I have to step up to that next level? And sometimes the idea, the abundance, the benefits from the next level are all shiny and happy, but the responsibilities of the next level, or how people are going to view us at the next level, or what if someone doesn't think I can do this, or what if I don't think I can do this? All these little things like chatter in our head, it's that mental chatter, and that's just kind of what holds us back. But you guys are meant to do big things, pile 2. You're really meant to, whatever this soul calling you have, whatever this pull you have, you guys have so much strength. It's just a matter of seeing it. I keep hearing just slight tweaks in your perception. Like really look at how you're viewing something, someone, situation, a path, and really see if you can tweak it. Because it might just need like that quite little, like you're looking through one lens and click to the next lens, and you're going to be able to see things from a whole different angle. And that might be what this Wheel of Fortune is about. Like you're going to click to a lens that makes you see a little more clear. If you wear glasses, it's like going in and you think you're seeing everything clearly. You go in, realize you need a stronger prescription. You get that prescription and boop, oh, wow, everything just came into vision. So that also might be what's going on right now. So be open to that. I keep hearing like you need to open up yourself to receive, open up yourself to see, open up all these things that maybe you're a little fearful. Some of you guys could have some gifts you're a little afraid of. And that's okay. Have some grace with yourself, but you're sitting on a gold mine. You really need to like open up to this, open up to receive all the good that's knocking at your door. You just simply have to let it in. You might have gotten too much into looking at all the different things you want to do instead of just picking one, and that you're kind of missing this opportunity knocking because your focus is all over the place. So you may need to, again, get very clear with yourself, get very simple with yourself. This Princess of Pentacles, this Page of Pentacles, so these new tangible things want to come to you. They're just waiting. Again, that opportunity knocking on your door. But it comes from going within and self-reflecting with the Hermit here. And know that there's so much abundance within you. There's so many gifts in this pile. Like you guys have a lot of abundance in the gifts that you have. And it actually may be your perspective and perception. You may have that clairvoyance. And are you really opening yourself up to that gift? Are you trusting that gift? Or are you downplaying it? Are you downplaying your light? Because you have this card about revealing your radiant light to the world. So allowing people to see you. If that perspective tweak shift doesn't resonate for you, this part of the message might. You might need to open up yourself to be seen. I know it's scary. I know it's hard. I know we're our own worst critics, but the power, the gifts, the things that you can do in this life is so vast if you choose to do it. It is your choice. You don't have to do any of this. You can sit around and do nothing, but your life also might not be setting you on fire anymore. If you're just sitting there and you feel like the fire in your soul has been kind of burnt out, maybe it's time to blow that back up, stoke that fire, add a log to it. What can you do to really set your own soul on fire? And that might be stepping into your own light, stepping into your own divinity, stepping into your own power, and step dulling yourself. Also, if there's anyone in your life, also, I feel like a lot of this is a hesitation about what someone's going to think, what's someone going to say. Who cares? If they don't see you, if they don't get you, those aren't your people. I promise you, when you're stepping into your most authentic self, you're going to be magnetizing people to you that need you, that hear you, and that see you. You know, that's the magic of flipping on your light. It's like becoming that lighthouse. So a lot of you guys may relate to being a light worker. You know, we have to think about this Hermit card that's here in the traditional. I mean, he's literally got a flame in this card. He's holding his own flame. He's a beacon of light in the darkness for others and himself, herself. Don't worry about the gender. But it's like becoming that lighthouse. It's like turning that light on and shining. I actually have this little message for myself, and it says, it's been on my desk since I started my channel. This was a reminder to myself. It still sits there. It says, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." And it's that, you know, pretty sure it's a Christian song. I don't know if it is based in that, but that's where I heard, I think I had a Bible study when I was a little kid, vocational Bible school. So yes, I come from a very Christian background, but you know, the little song, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine, let it shine." So that's what, and I wrote this to myself because I relate to this message that's coming in. I wrote this to myself and I keep it on my desk as a reminder. And I look up anytime I see it, if I'm dulling myself or if I'm afraid of what someone's going to say or if I'm afraid of being weird. You know, you're going to attract the other weirdos. When you turn your light on, all those people that are kind of lost in the darkness that need your light are going to find you, and you're going to find your tribe. You're going to find your soul family. I know I talk about this often and people comment, they're like, "Man, I wish I could find my soul family." Turn on your light. That beacon, they're going to recognize it. The ones that don't see it aren't meant for you. Don't try to keep shoving them or trying to mold yourself to make them like you, because they never will. And that's okay. And sometimes that's our own family. Sometimes it's our lifelong friends. And it doesn't mean you have to cut these people out coldly, but it means that you need to pull your energy back for what's meant for you and meant for your soul. So just keep that in mind. So again, we have these more cards about choice. So you guys have all these choices going on. But this card says, choose love. You always have a choice. Make yours with love. When you choose it with, and this is going to come in right now, it's about self-love. Because I feel like a lot of you guys do a lot of things for other people. There might be some people-pleasing tendencies in this group. And we don't necessarily see that as a bad thing, but honestly, it's a toxic trait. It's one I have carried for a long time myself, and I'm always unpacking. And I seem to pack it back up, and I'm like, oh, crap, I'm not supposed to carry that anymore. And so it's constant, and that's okay. But you need to start putting yourself first, honoring yourself, pouring into yourself. I know not all situations where we can do that. You know, some of us have these outside obligations that we have to do that sit very high on our priority list. So I'm not, assuming that everyone can just drop everything and run away and run in a field by yourself. I'm not saying that. However, if you're not on your priority list, you need to get yourself on it and then keep working it up as much as you can. Again, sometimes there's stuff that's gonna have to be above that, but just make sure you're on your list and you are like prioritizing yourself, your needs, your wants, your desires, because that's what makes life fulfilling. And again, I know for some of us that's a big ask. I am a mom. I'm a single mom. I have 2 little girls, and one of my children are, I don't talk about this that often. My oldest daughter has a crazy rare disorder. She's in a wheelchair. She is unable to do anything for herself, so she's 100% dependent care on me. So when I say this, I am saying it from a place that I get where our responsibilities can make it hard for us to do things, but you need to make sure you're up there with it. You're on that list, and you are valuing yourself when you can have those moments to do things for yourself, because it's important. And when you don't, it just breeds resentment. When you give and give and give and give of yourself and you're not giving to yourself, And then you realize, wait, these people aren't giving back to me. That's not their job. Your job is to fill your cup too. And if you find people that can fill yours as well, rock on, but that's not always going to happen. But if you're always finding moments to fill your own cup, you're not going to have those resentments. You're not going to be like pining to get it from outside of yourself, because you will have fulfilled it yourself. And I get that we all want people in our lives that pour back into us. And if you're being authentic and if you're speaking your truth, you will find those people. But if you're also always pouring into yourself, you're not going to be coming in from a place of lack. You're not going to be settling for those little breadcrumbs from people. Those breadcrumb people in your life, you'll start seeing them for what they are. And you'll be able to let them go easily, because you won't need that breadcrumb from them anymore, because you made yourself a full meal. So those things, that's why it's important to be on your own priority list. That's why it's important to do the things that you love and to put yourself up there and put yourself first if you can. Again, you might be in a situation like me. I kind of have to be third or fourth, but you know what? On those third and fourth times, I am definitely filling myself as much as I can, because I spent my life settling. I spent my life waiting for other people to fill me up, and that just left me empty and my well empty. So you got to pour into yourself, guys. You really got to do it. And you do that by choosing the things that you love. If you love doing things, this one thing for this other person, it benefits them, is make sure it's benefiting you too. And that's okay. I'm not saying we can't do, like, a lot of our love languages is doing for others. Just make sure it's not at the sacrifice of yourself, because I promise you that's where that resentment comes in. Okay, off that pedestal. Consciousness. Again, we have these two cards here that are about perception. And this card is talking about gratitude. And if you can shift your thought process to being more grateful and more thankful, especially when you're having those low moments, especially when it's the hardest to do, you can't have, it's really, I'm not saying you can't, a lot of us are multitaskers, but it's really hard to be down and sad and depressed and angry and grateful at the same time. So if you're needing something to pull you out of that space, start looking for things that you're grateful for. And it might be as simple as, like, I'm grateful that you might be so low that you only got your breath, but you know what? You have your breath, and your breath leads to your life. And then I'm getting a message for some of you guys to look into breath work. Look into just what deep breathing does. 5 in and out through your nose, 5 in, 5 out, 5 in. I mean, some people count 6, whatever, but I think it's at least 5. Do that 5 times, in, out through your nose. And that will re-regulate your nervous system, reset the chemicals that are going on in your body, and it can shift a lot. And so can water. I feel the need to tell somebody to, when you're in a mood or you're feeling down or you're feeling like just your well is empty, please go drink a big glass of water. You'll be surprised at how much that can shift a mood or a feeling or whatever. But also, so can your breath. Your breath is literally what keeps you alive. There's a lot of things you can live for a while without food. You can live for a while without water. Not very long, but you can. You cannot live past a couple minutes without breathing. So make sure you're breathing intentionally. A lot of us just breathe shallow. I'm very guilty of this. I'm actually looking into doing breath work myself. It's been something that my guides have been giving me. So if maybe that's a collective thing right now, so please look into that if that resonates with you. As we take a deep breath. Okay. I'm going to keep going with this message. So we have breakthrough to new dimensions. A new endeavor is on the horizon. Innovative energy wants to burst forth from your consciousness. So again, we have consciousness here. So I think if you guys can make these shifts, put yourself first, turn on your light, change your perspective, be your most authentic self, you're going to realize that there's something that's just waiting for you to be you, to truly step into who you are. And it's just going to go, like, if you're like, I know something big's supposed to happen, I just don't know what it is. Maybe all it's needed left to do is for you to really step into your light. Own it, like truly own it. If you've been owning it, keep owning it. It's going to come. It's going to come. We have creation here. We have beaver moon, which I think just happened, but full moon. in this picture, but creation's coming. You are the creator of your own life. We have blueprints here. You get to manifest your life. Be very intentional with your thoughts, guys. If we focus on the bad, again, I talked about this earlier, and I talked about just from a perspective, just like if you don't buy into the manifesting thing, just understanding perspective, you'll get that. But for those of you that do realize that the law of attraction, the law of assumption, those things are real laws in this dimension that we're living in, this realm and earth, that you are the creator of your own life. So focus your thoughts, your primary thoughts. Again, we all spiral into this thought crap show. Sorry, I'm trying to cuss. It's very easy to do. And it's okay, don't get mad at yourself, but recognize when you're doing it and make sure your primary thoughts are on the things you want to attract versus the things you don't want. Because the universe only hears what your primary thought is. Just like if you're driving down the road and you're running late and you're like, oh, I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late. I don't want to be late. You're still focusing on being late. I promise you, the universe is like, oh, they're focused on late. So let's just make them real late. Oh, that person's going to drive slow. Oh, here's some red lights. And then you're like, oh my God, why is this happening? Because you're thinking about being late. Start shifting your mindset to at least on time. I mean, if you're already leaving your house late, there are laws of physics here. You're not probably going to teleport there. If you figure that out, please let me know. That's a superpower I've always wanted. However, at least try to think on time or within, time, smooth sailing, green lights. Focus on the little outcomes you need for that thing. I'm just using the running late because everybody's been there. And we've all been like, oh my God, I don't want to be late. I'm late, and hit every red light. And you're like, what the F is, ugh. It's because you're focused on being late. So the universe is like, not a problem. We can line that up for you. We're going to make you real late. As late as we possibly can make you, because that's what you're putting out there. And you have so much stress and feeling behind it. So the other part of manifesting is the feeling. So, right? So I'm going to lean into this late analogy a little bit more. So you have to think about it like you are pretty stressed, right? So your feelings are very much into that thought about being late and all that stuff that encompasses it, because you are just beaming all of that. And so the universe is like, oh, they're very pumped about this. They are feeling into this. So I'm going to just give it to them. So that's what I mean by be mindful of your primary thoughts and your primary feelings, because that's what the universe is going to bring to you. It doesn't understand the word no. Like if you are going somewhere and you don't want it to rain and it looks like it might rain, don't think, I don't want it to rain. Think, this is literally what I say. I say this a lot. This is silly. When I go to pick my kids up, I live in Florida. During the summer, which is literally half of our year, we get showers in the afternoon. Again, I mentioned my daughter's in a wheelchair. That's the worst thing, is putting the wheelchair and then getting my daughter buckled in properly in the rain. So when I'm driving to their school and I see that the clouds are looking a little ominous, I tend to say, dry, 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 dry. I'm like, think dry thoughts, think dry thoughts. So I don't focus on I don't want it to rain. I just try to focus on it being dry. And I know it seems silly, but it works for me a lot, like 98% of the time. Sometimes it gets me, but most of the time, like I'm always surprised. I'm like, please stay dry until I get the girls back in the house. Please stay dry until I get the girls back in the house. And I'm telling you, I get in the door and all of a sudden, then the sky opens up and I just look at my angels and I say, thanks guys, I appreciate that. So that's what I mean by that. Like, be mindful, like those little tweaks, and that might be what it is like the universe doesn't understand the word no. Make sure you're thinking about what you want, the actual outcome that you want, and focus in on that. And then the feeling behind that, okay, very cool. Next card, it says, I let go and I surrender and allow myself to grieve. So we're going to unpack this a little bit. I know this is getting a little long here. This message is about feeling your feelings. And so I know a lot of us that are light workers, we tend to focus in on the positivity, especially if you've already shifted your mindset. But as I've been telling you to shift your mindset, I also want you to understand that this is all about a balance. So you are going to have those feelings, those bad feelings. Allow yourself to feel those, though. When they say, like, really feel your feelings, well, if they're bad, it's okay to feel them. Don't unpack your bags and, like, live in grief, but it's okay to visit those things, because if you don't address your feelings, they will show up in different ways. I actually talked, if you need more messages about that message, that was a big theme in pile 1. I'm not going to unpack it too much here because there's not too much about it, but just allow yourself. Also, if you have had some things that have gone on in your life and you kind of just try to like, I'm tough, I can do anything, I can get through all this stuff, and you haven't allowed yourself to grieve. This might be a specific message to one person out there. It's okay to cry, and it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to be upset about something that didn't work. I suggest that you journal that and just say, I am angry. And it's okay to write that down. Again, don't make that your primary thought if we're manifesting things, but I think you get the importance of this. But life is about balance, so don't ignore these down feelings, but explore them a little bit. Allow yourself that grace to do that. Just don't stay there if it doesn't feel good. If it feels good for you that day, let yourself a day to it. I'm not saying to not feel your feelings, because feeling all those feelings are very important. Just be mindful of how much you're spending there. Or if you have been sitting in a certain feeling for a long time and you start noticing more of that stuff that is helping you feel that way, that's when you need to be mindful about, shifting your mindset. But with that said, please don't take that as an invitation not to feel the bad or not to experience the bad, because life is about balance. Earth is about duality. You have to look at everything in life on Earth. This school of lessons that we're here to learn is duality. Look at the North Pole, South Pole, positive, negative. Earth is all about duality. So there is an opposite and equal reaction to everything that we do. And so it's finding the balance within all of that. So sometimes if you can just get to neutral, that's rocking too, so just keep that in mind. And again, if you want more into that message, I did talk about that a lot in pile 1. So we have strength here. This is also about recognizing your strength and recognizing that you've come very far. So a lot of you guys have probably been on a healing journey for quite some time. So I'm feeling the need to just honor you and say that, the universe sees you. They know how hard you've been working, and just know that there's so much abundance coming your way. I'm just feeling guided to just say, step into your light, step into your power, step into your strength of who you are. The strength represents Leo. So Leo, look at what, and if you don't relate to, you don't have to have Leo in your chart. I mean, you have it somewhere, but you don't have to be a Leo. But look into what Leo means. I'm telling you, I'm guided to tell people to look up a description of Leo, and there's going to be a word that pops out differently for each one of you guys. It could be playful, it could be romantic, it could be in the spotlight, it could be like that strength, could be that pride. And pride can be a bad thing, but it also can be a driving force for getting things that you want if it's done in a beautiful, balanced way. So we're looking at balance. But I think that it's the stepping into the spotlight version of Leo that the message is coming into this. It's like, be the star of your own movie. This is your life. This is your creation, right? We already talked about that. Make sure you're the leading star in your life. And that's another message, dialing back to putting yourself on your own priority list. So I'm going to pull one more card. Because it's got really lengthy. I was going to pull a couple more cards, but I'll just pull one more card for guidance for you guys from the Shamanic Dream Oracle. So what else does pile 2 need to hear at this time, please? What else does pile 2 need to hear? The empty well. Did we not talk about that? The empty well, time to replenish. I was just talking about this card with a friend of mine yesterday. So he doesn't watch my readings, but that's funny. Anyways, so the empty well, nothing here, time to replenish, diminishing yourself for another. That's been your whole reading. So we're just going to reiterate this. It's probably going to be more eloquent than I explained it, but here we go. The empty well reveals that there's nothing for you here. The well is dry and the desert is encroaching on your once fertile garden. It is time to face this harsh reality and move on. Give gratitude and thanks for the abundance you have experienced and let spirit guide you to your next destination. This might mean saying goodbye to someone or something, or insisting on changing the rules of the game. Stop diminishing yourself for the sake of another. Making yourself small will not produce the results you want. There is a lack of reciprocity of give and take. The empty well tells you that it's time to reclaim what is yours and return what does not belong to you. The shadows cast in your direction are not for your making. You do not need to react or respond to them, as they are not real. Simply shine your light upon them and see how it dispels them. These shadows are projections that are confusing for reality. You may have been offered a shovel to help you dig yourself out of an uncomfortable situation, a bucket to drink from the well, but you cannot dig yourself out of this hole. And remember that there's no water to be found in that well. So basically, this pattern that you're running, it's just empty. So receive the empty well as a gift. Do not exert your energy and waste your resources by repairing the walls or mending the rope. Follow the water course way. The aquifers that run deep in the earth, and you will be led to a new spring oasis. You can find these underground streams, these rich natural resources, in the subterranean depths of your own heart. So pile 2, I'll end your reading here. I hope that you guys like this. Please feel free to comment, share, subscribe. Share this with anyone else that you think that would need to hear something today. There's going to be nuggets of gold throughout all the different piles. So thank you guys so very much. I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a future reading. Bye, guys. Hello, 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 my lovely friends for pile 3. You guys picked this awesome brass flower that I got at World Market, same with this candle holder I always loves. They don't sell this anymore, but I like it, and it's been with me since I started my channel. So we are going over what do you need to know. I have kind of set up the intention with my guides and universe and everything, however you want to phrase it, for me to be a clear channel for any information that needs to come through for those attracted to this pile. So know if you're drawn to this pile, there's at least something in this pile that you need to hear, need to understand. Could be about yourself, a situation, or something coming up, or something to implement and within your life. Is kind of like the premise of this. If you're drawn to more than one pile, feel free to watch them all, but it is a general reading, so not every little moment might not fit with you, and that's completely okay. But just know if you are drawn to this, there is something that you needed to hear within this. So please have an open mind, be objective, and because some of these messages are triggering, just try to step out of the ego and just listen from your soul and see what you needed to hear. All right, so we are using the Tarot of the Curious Creatures for your guys' tarot, and I have a bunch of oracle cards as well. I will have a video at the end of this if you're curious to see all the different decks that I used in this reading. I will go over that at the end of the reading. There's an option underneath pile 4. It'll be decks used in this, and there'll be a little video snapshot of that if you're curious about looking at that. So all right, let's get going. Pile 3. What does pile 3 need to know, need to hear, need to understand? What do they need to know? So we have an 8 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords. We have a Knight of Swords. I love these cards. These cards are so great. It's by a deck creator named Chris Ann, and I love all her decks. We have the Lovers. We have a Page of Wands. Still trying to fit everything into this reading because it has a lot of cards. And then the bottom of the deck for pile 3 is a 5 of Swords. So mental chatter, some things you may need to clear out. I'm going to pull the oracle cards too next, but the overall energy is going to be basically out with the old and with the new is the way this vibe is kind of coming in. But there's a lot of different messages in here to unpack. So, all right, let's keep going. So we have respect. We have love is all around you. There is love everywhere, all the time. Simply acknowledge this truth. We have Sir Cider Dutchington, worry less, create more. So So there could be some musical ties to some of you guys in this connection, or in this pile. We have root chakra. If I can hold on to things. The frequency of the root chakra, the red flower of life, stimulates passion and supports our sense of security on this physical plane, both in our bodies as well as our physical world. I'm also being guided to give a nod to Archangel Michael, if any of you guys relate to connecting with him. He's typically related to the root chakra. We have persistent drive. See what you desire and move towards that goal. It's time to zero in on your purpose. Use your intuition and instincts to guide you for optimal outcome. So trusting your intuition. We have the Enchanter dream. Wish upon a star, my dreams come true. Or I wish upon a star, my dreams come true. We have boundaries. We have free spirit. To be a free spirit is to float without walls, or to fly without judgment, and to love without conditions. And then you guys have nourishment. Move these all around a little bit so I can fit everything mostly in the screen. Okay, pile 3. We're going to talk about this first. Oh, and then we have a 7 of Swords sitting right underneath the surface of this mental chatter. So the 5 of Swords typically is about an internal battle of our own mind. Sometimes it's a fight with somebody else and it's winning at all costs. It's basically just, they're giving me the word nonsense, so don't take that don't take that too harshly. But the message that's coming in here is you need to be honest with yourself. What are you allowing in your life that no longer serves you? What old thought patterns, or patterns in general, belief systems that don't fit your life, and they could have been put on you by somebody else. So be mindful the patterns, like literally seeing a hamster wheel that you're running through in your life. And is this truly who you want to be? Are you being honest with yourself? Are you honoring yourself, and what you want and what you need in your life? So it's time to sweep out the old things that aren't serving you. Being mindful of that chatter when it comes up. Negative self-talk is a big one that's coming up, and allowing that stuff to go. If it doesn't serve you, like asking yourself when you get caught up in that thought process, does this thought serve me? Even if it was a thought that served you in the past, it might be a pattern that you developed to protect yourself when you were younger, but do you need that anymore? Is it protecting you now, or is it holding you back? And if that answer is not to your highest good, sweep it out the door, let it go. Might take a little bit for some of you guys if you think that's hard to do, but if you think it's hard, it's going to be hard. But literally, recognize when you're getting yourself in these thought patterns, and literally go, no more. This thought doesn't serve me. I'm letting it go. Next time it comes to visit, go, nope, you don't belong here. Even if it creeps in the front door, you're like, nope, you no longer belong in my house. You're no longer allowed in this. Please go, and sweep it out the door. So with this 8 of Pentacles coming in, so there could be, this could just take some work. It could take some practice, could take some intention. I'm hearing that you need to live intentionally, think intentionally, and do intentionally. Like, make sure that what you're putting your time and effort into in your life is really serving where you want to be in your life. Like, if you, I'm just going to use this as an example, if you want to lose weight, or I'm trying to think of, if you want to feel better, are you doing the things to align with feeling better? Like, if you're like, oh, I'm sick of feeling tired and grumpy and my clothes, whatever is not making you feel your most best self, ask yourself if your actions, your intention, and your energy is being put into the things that are going to get you to where you want to be. This could be with yourself physically. This could be with your job. This could be with your life. This could be with your house. You know, if you're like, oh, I want a clean and clutter-free home, but then you're not doing anything to put into good practices of, okay, maybe I should take 10 minutes and clean out this area, or every night before I go to bed, let me straighten up the kitchen or clean up the kitchen or straighten up the living room or whatever mess the kids make. I don't know what it looks like for you guys. I have 2 little children, and I've made it a habit that I only have them half the time I'm divorced, but as soon as they're no longer in my home, even if they're just gone to the school for the day, I clean up everything. I reset my home to, granted my house is tiny, I reset my main living areas to the most peaceful state that it needs to be. I make sure I make my bed, little things like that, so your mind's not distracted by the chaos around you and you can focus on what you need to do. So I guess the point I'm trying to make sure where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your time, your focus is in things that are getting you to the things that you want. Yeah. Make sure you're investing your time, energy, emotions into things that are serving you. This Queen of Swords here is about getting very clear and concise about what it is that you want in your life. I'm hearing brainstorming some things. If you don't know which direction you want to go in, literally some of you guys may need to make a pros and cons list. This feels very like Virgo. I have heavy Virgo placements, so I get this, but make sure your thoughts are, make sure you're getting very clear about the direction you want to go, but the direction that also lights you up, that really fills your cup. So we have a Knight of Swords. This is going, the Knights are our action cards, and this is about getting very clear about where you want to go. We do have, this heavy sword energy here. So if you have a tendency to get too much in your head and being guided to also make sure you're getting physically in your body and grounding yourself. I was very attracted to the fact that I have this little piece of obsidian before I started this, and I was like, do I need to put this in my pocket before I start this reading? I didn't know why, but I think the message is about grounding. So this very small little crystal is really great. Personally for me, I'm very attached to this. I've had it for a very long time. When I feel scattered or too much in my head, is bringing in something that makes you feel grounded. If that's grounding yourself in nature, walking barefoot outside, drinking water, washing your hands, taking a salt bath, those types of things, being grounded and pulling yourself out of this mental chatter is going to be very important for you, pile 3. Really, really grounding in your body. If you have heavy air placements in your chart, that's also very important. For myself, I am Libra Sun and Moon and Aquarius Rising. So my big 3 are all air. So this is a very big message about really, really being rooted in your body and in your life. There's one thing, we can think about stuff, we can manifest stuff, but we also need to do it. We need to live our life. So make sure you're actually living the life that you want. Again, putting your energy in, your time and your thoughts into the things that you want to do. But I keep hearing that doing is going to be very important for you guys versus just thinking about it. It may be time to actually take physical action towards the things that you want versus just thinking about them. So we do have the Lovers here. It's another air card. It's Gemini. So love in your life could be something that's very important. It could be having some changes going on, some challenges. But so I feel like I wasn't going to do a love reading at all with this, but with Lovers popping up, it's hard for me not to. But I'm hearing just be very intentional about anything you do. That involves relationships in your life. That can be friendships, that can be family, but make sure you're showing up passionately. I feel like you guys have dulled yourself down. I don't know if you have these big visions of who you want to be, but you're not showing up as that person. I know this is a very specific message, but if you can if this is resonating with you, really think of are my actions really showing up the way I want? Have I lost my passion for life? Have I lost my drive for life? Have I got too much in my head about what I think life should be and I'm not doing anything to be a part of it? Am I just an observer to my own life? Which, there's good points and bad points about being disconnected or non-attachment, but life on earth is about balance. It is about the contrast of finding the balance between the two things. It's like that responding versus reacting kind of vibe. Like you recognize things are happening. You don't have to react to them. You can respond to them from a calm place. So it's also just finding the balance. We do have this zebra here. So it's reminding me of the yin yang symbol, even though that's not really what Page of Wands is about, but that's what my guides are drawing me into, is finding this balance in the extremes of your life. Don't sit too far on either side of that. Sit in between, and in that balance, in that space where you can think and feel and do and all the things. But I just keep hearing, make sure you're showing up and you're playing and you're being a part of your own life. Don't let it just don't watch it go by. Like actually act on it. Act on your passions. Act on what you want to go after. If there's something that you've been desiring for a long time, like really put in the work to go after that, even if it scares you, even if people think it's dumb, even if no one understands. If it lights you up, if it sparks something in you to do something like this creativity, if you've let that kind of fall out, reignite that. Again, putting energy back into it will help stir that fire that you felt for it at one time. You know, they have that saying, the grass is greener on the other side, but the grass is actually greener where you water it. So that's the same kind of message. Like you might be looking at someone else's life or whatever and be like, oh, that's better than mine. But are you watering your own water? Like, watering your own lawn? Like, if you want that green lawn, you got to water it. You got to tend to it. So if you want that fulfilled, vibrant life, you got to be in it. You got to show up for yourself. There's another message coming in, like if you're involved with people that don't seem to be showing up for you in your life. You know, sometimes the relationships around us are a mirror of what's going on within us. So you have to ask yourself, what don't you like about what you see in the outside world or your outside relationships? You know, we do have the Lovers here, so this is about relationships. What are the relationships that you see or you're involved in? What are they mirroring back to you? And can you ask yourself objectively? This is the hard part. It's like getting out of your own way and asking yourself objectively. Like, we'll use the example. Man, I keep running into people that aren't showing up for me. Like, why can't anyone show up for me? I show up for everybody else. Why can't someone show up for me? But you have to ask, are you showing up for you? Because they're a reflection of your internal world. It's not what you're giving to them. It's what you're giving to yourself. Am I showing up for myself? And if you are, then continue to do that. You should start seeing that. But if you realize that you aren't, start showing up for yourself. And you'll be surprised how the relationships around you start shifting. And people start showing up for you because that's the energy you're putting out. I have value. I show up for myself. I do the things I want to do. Or I do the things I say I'm going to do. That's another thing about building self-worth. Like if you want to start something new and you're like, oh, I'm going to start on this day, and then you don't do it, you're not showing up for yourself. You're not valuing your own desires. And this is about what stepping into your life means. What do you want to do? Start making those and investing that time into you, into what you want to do, and really have respect for yourself. That's about honoring yourself. Really showing up for like this beautiful divine being that you are. I just realized that she has the Virgo symbol on her bracelet. But yeah, it's like stepping into the own energy of yourself, and honoring yourself, respecting yourself, reflecting on what you need and you want. But really just stepping up and owning this fire and this beauty. Like, I don't know if you forgot to see yourself, guys. Like, do you not realize how amazing you are? You know, like you have all this fire. I just think you've forgotten how beautiful and amazing you are and how rich life can be if we indulge in it, you know, but you got to be in it. We have love is all around you. Love is everywhere all the time. Simply acknowledge this as a truth. Start seeing the love around you. Start seeing the love in everything. Start seeing how people, you know, everyone has a different love language. So we might feel like some people in our lives don't love us or they aren't showing up for us, or, you know, I talked about that. Make sure you're showing up for yourself, but also realize that people show up for each other in different ways. Just because your love language is giving gifts, someone's might be acts of service. So I cleaned this up for you, or I picked this up, or I brought you this cup of coffee. You know, like those types of things are people's way of showing love. Just see it. Just try to see how people are doing stuff, or they might give you kind words. They might not give you physical things, but maybe their love language is words of affirmation. So they're really good at being like, saying really nice things to you, and that's how they're showing you that they care. This can be friends, this can be a lover, this can be your spouse, whatever. But really recognize that they are showing you love. It just might not be in the way that you normally see love, but there is lots of ways to express love to other people and to receive it yourself. So just be mindful of that. We have worry less, create more. Again, like that mental chatter. So you need to like let that go and start creating. If some of you guys are musically inclined and you let that go, I'm hearing be playful with an old instrument. Be playful with an old creative idea. Pull out those old paints. Crocheting's popping up. I don't know why. Or knitting. I'm seeing like yarn. So I don't know if anyone did any creative things with like yarn. But pulling those things back up, doing those things that used to like be fun for you or creative for you is going to be very powerful. Like you doing the things that you love. Again, I don't know if it was like either you felt like you weren't good enough at it, but did it bring you joy where you're doing it? Then just do it. You know, just rock on. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Enjoy the process. Even if things don't turn out great. Like personally, I kind of like painting. I have an idea in my head. It never comes out right because I tend to be really hard on myself aesthetically about things that I'm doing. But I have my Venus in Virgo. So if anyone else out there has a Venus in Virgo, it means how you love, who you love, what you love. You're going to have an air of needing things that you do aesthetically to be perfect. So my thing for myself is I am painting with whatever it comes out, trying not to see all the flaws in it and just appreciating for what it is, but enjoying the process of painting. It doesn't have to look like anything because it is a creative thing I kind of enjoy, but I let that go because it never was good. And then so instead of needing it to be good, just enjoying doing it. And so like really just enjoy doing things in life without needing them to be perfect or have some productivity attached to it, just for the fact of you doing it. And again, that's about stepping into your life and enjoying this life and experiencing things instead of just watching it. I feel like some people are just like, it's like almost seeing you like sitting in a theater watching your own life go by. Sorry, getting dry throat. So it's like getting up on stage and participating in your life instead of watching it. But that also might be like you just, you know, doing the things that you have fun doing regardless of their outcome, kind of thing. I'm so sorry. We have root chakra. So this is about feeling safe and feeling grounded. We have talked about being grounded in the physical world, both in your body and your physical world. So you might need to really root yourself and ground yourself, and get out of your head and get into your body is this vibe that I'm really, really feeling very strong with this pile. And that might be because you guys have this free spirit, and there's nothing wrong with having this free spirit, but your spirit lives within you during this lifetime, so make sure you're doing all the things. So we have persistent drive. So you guys have this innate ability to really, I just realized I have mascara on my finger, to really, really go after some things. And you have this drive and this willpower that, again, I feel like a lot of you guys have lost your drive for things. So just know, like, you have to find what, again, makes you like, it's like smelling blood in the water. Like what drives you, what draws your attention, and really start feeding into that, almost having a frenzy-like excitement for things again. And you'll find that drive again if you've lost it. I know I keep talking about this message, but I just feel like you guys have lost your passion for life, and it's there. You just gotta put the energy into it. So you might be like, you have to get out of your way a little bit. You have to kick yourself in the tush a little bit. Do the things that you don't feel like doing. Like, all right, I said I was going to do this. This is also about showing up for yourself. This message is coming up again from my guides. It's like really like honoring the things that you want to do. I think you're really good at doing things that other people want and other people need. But what do you want to do? And you're actually like showing up for yourself and nourishing yourself, truly honoring yourself with this. I do have to point out, we have 43, which reduces to 7. We have 16, which reduces to 7. And then we have 7. So we have 777 here, which is the number of the divine. So 7 might be important for you guys. but you know, you're being asked to really nourish yourself, really pour into yourself, pour into your own cup. For some of you guys might want to actually grow like a garden, and maybe that's what you've been putting off. Like I feel like you guys have just been putting off planting your own seeds and then tending to your own garden and then reaping the benefits of that. You know, you gotta invest in yourself and invest in your dreams and invest in your wants and invest in your desires. And if you're waiting for somebody else to come along and kick your butt into that, it's probably not going to happen, or someone to do it for you, definitely probably not going to happen. If you want something, go after it. Like go after it full force. Like this bird can fly, but it also is using the power of the horse to propel itself forward. You know, like really, really go after these things that are like sitting in your thoughts and actually make them realities for yourself. And then we have the Enchanter, dream. So I wish upon a star my dreams come true. So it's like, what are your dreams? I feel like you need to tap back into this yourself. Like I know this happens to a lot of people. We have a tendency, you know, get caught up in life and the hamster wheel of it all and the responsibilities, and we forget what we even like. And if you're at that point where you're like, if someone's like, so what do you like to do for fun? You're like, I don't have time for that. Or I've forgotten what there was a point in my life I couldn't answer that question. I was like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I was like, I really like sunsets. And so for a while, when I got some free time, when some things shifted in my life, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had lost track of myself, and I did know that I did like sunsets. So I luckily live 3 miles from the beach. I started taking myself to a sunset all the time. I didn't wait for someone else to invite me. I just started going by myself. And it was something that like sparked, okay, well, it's a little thing, but I started showing up for myself, and the one thing I knew that I wanted to do for myself. And then it started expanding. Okay, well, what do I like to do? I like to dance silly in my living room. So I do that, you know, regardless of what anyone else thinks. You know, sometimes even during the day, I'll shut my blinds because not that anyone can see in, but I don't know. But it makes me feel more comfortable to do silly things like when no one can see me, because I am not a good dancer. But it feels good. So it's like finding those things that feel good, finding those things that light you up, even if they don't make sense to anyone else but you. That's all it needs to make sense to. This is your life. And then we run into boundaries. So you need to look at the boundaries or your lack of boundaries in life. If you have a lot of boundaries, there has been a message that's been coming up in a lot of readings from my guides about boundaries, because I feel like it's a very important thing to have. But some of us have built walls from fear, from pain, from all these negative places, and then we're calling them a boundary. So just be mindful of the boundaries that you've set. Are those from a healthy, honest, loving way for yourself? Please keep those. If they've come in from fear, or if you've built walls around your heart to protect yourself, be mindful about those types of boundaries. If they came from a fearful place, that they might not be actually serving you. So just keep that in mind. I just want to throw that out there because it's been such a big thing with my guides lately about, you know, boundaries, because they are extremely important. Just make sure they're healthy boundaries. There is, again, a big difference. But also just creating boundaries for yourself. If you do have anyone, like if any of you guys have like energy vampires in your life, or people that, if you're a giver, be mindful of how many takers you have in your life, and you might need to start creating boundaries with those people. Because this is about protecting you, protecting your fire here. So, you know, we've been talking about like, if you've lost your fire, you have to look, is it because I've been giving it away to everybody else and I don't have any left for myself? So then make sure that you're putting up these boundaries in a healthy way. And people that are used to taking from you might not like that. They'll get over it, but you need to do it for you to protect yourself. If you've lost your fire, again, look at where you've expended all your energy if it's outside yourself, and then pull some of that back in for yourself, and then create those healthy boundaries from there. All right, I'm going to pull one more card from the Shamanic Dream Oracle for one last message from the universe to pile 3. What else does pile 3 need to know, need to hear at this time? Anything that they need to know that we might not have covered or need to get more in depth with. You guys have lost in space, needing direction. Well, hot damn. Is that, hopefully this will just, I'm sure it's going to reiterate a lot of what I said, but probably in a way more eloquent way. So let's see. Lost in space, feeling lost, needing direction and focus, a 24-hour day. Sometimes in life we lose our way, perhaps falling prey to addictive behaviors, jealousy, comparison, resistance, or fear. This happens especially when we are up-leveling and genuinely changing for the better. A part of us, hiding in the vast expansive space, wants to sabotage our progress. In this transformation process, our inner world no longer feels safe or inhabitable, as we find that our thoughts and beliefs have morphed beyond recognition. You may find yourself adrift in this way right now, unable to focus or determine the next step. You might be tired and simply need to regroup and rest. When you lack direction, the first thing to do is redirect your perspective of time. Like a newborn baby who needs swaddling to feel safe, you're invited to reduce your life vision to the next 24 hours. Anyone can handle living in 24-hour compartments, which allows everything to feel grounded and manageable. You get lost in space when you imagine being swallowed up by the giant vastness of the future with its dark uncertainty, or reflect on how your past has held you captive in the hall of distorted, never-ending mirrors, reminding you of your mistakes and flaws, failures and losses. Take heart that the simple 24-hour container immediately banishes those awful eternities away. You will find your energy and your focus restored as you recognize that you were never lost at all. Keep it simple. Right now, conserve your energy and take care of you in basic fundamental ways, and the world will be right again. So another technique, even if you 24 hours seems too much, focus on the next thing you have to do. If you're a person that, again, gets caught in your mind, I say this from experience, I sometimes need to implement, I'll make a list sometimes the night before, because if I make it that day, I think about too much stuff. I make a list the night before of what I need to do the next day. And then I look at my list, and in the morning, I don't think about, again, I'm an overthinker. So to dial it in, I think of the thing I need to do most, and just focus on that one thing. Because again, I'm one of those people, I'm like, oh, this needs to be done. This needs to be done. That's why I was talking about implementing that. When I get home, when I don't have my kids or whatever, I kind of reset my world, make my bed, clean up any toys, clean up anything that needs to be cleaned. So everything's reset back to neutral, because that really helps me then when I'm focusing on one thing at a time. So then I can just focus on that one thing. I'm not distracted by disorganization or chaos, things that need to be done. That's actually a self-sabotaging thing when you're disorganized, because you're like, oh, well, I need to take care of this task, and then you're never actually getting anything done that you need to do, because you're like, just too many things, and then you start one thing over here and you start another thing. So this is about focusing your energy on one thing at a time. So if you resonate with being an overthinker and have way too many things all the time, just focus on the very next thing. Do not do anything else. Don't let anything else distract you, and do that next thing. Once you're done with that thing, then move to the next thing. And that will also help you recenter yourself and your thoughts and the things that you need to do. And you'll start feeling good because you're accomplishing things as well. But then just in general, if you get caught up in the big picture, just simple it down to just today and just focus on today. So pile 3, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for spending your time with me. I will be going over all the decks that I used. You can find that video just after on the timestamps if you're curious about what decks I used today. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a future reading. Bye, guys. Hello, 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 my lovely friends for pile 4. You guys picked this really awesome Othoceros, which is this fossilized sea creature from millions and millions of years ago, but such a cool little stone thing, fossil. And we're using the Light Seers Tarot as well as Oracle cards. So today is an open reading to the divine, the universe, spirit, my angels, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to say. This is a open reading to any messages that need to come through. The intention that's been set is for anyone drawn to this pile, for whatever messages, whatever they need to hear at this time, for it to come through. I do ask that you listen with an objective mind. If you are drawn to this pile, there should be at least something, if not all the things that you need to hear, but this is a general reading, so not everything may fit for you, and that's okay. Use your own discernment to know what resonates with you, or what messages, fit or don't fit. Don't try to make something fit if it doesn't. And if you're drawn to more than one, feel free to watch more than one pile. It's just, there's lots of, by the time I'm getting to this one, I definitely know there's lots of just gold throughout these. That's so many beautiful messages, and sometimes triggering messages come through, so be mindful. That's why I ask that you look at it from an objective standpoint. If you do feel triggered by something I say, I'm just the messenger, please don't come at me, but also look at, triggers are to let us know where we have something in us that is a disconnect or a wound or something. So if you feel by something that I say, if you can be objective, you don't have to, you can whatever you want to do and scroll away, but if you really want to grow and heal and whatever, really look at triggers as there's something inside you that needs your attention. So if you do find yourself being triggered by something, try to be objective and be like, okay, why am I feeling that way? What about that message bothered me? Is there something I need to address? If the answer is no, then let it go and be like, she's wrong. It might not be your truth. It's cool. No hard feelings. Again, just the messenger. But I just wanted to say that. All right, we're going to jump right into this. We'll start with tarot, and then I'll pull out your guys' oracle cards. So pile number 4. What does pile number 4 need to know, need to understand, need to implement in their life right now? What do they need to know for their highest good? And my worst, my horrible shuffling skills today. There we go. All right. I never knock my deck, so it must be someone watching that knocks their decks. Happens to me here and there. All right. What does pile 4 need to hear most? We have an Ace of Wands. We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the 3 of Pentacles. We have a Page of Cups. We have a 7 of Cups. And bottom of the deck, you guys have the 7 of Wands. So there's a need to stand your ground at this time in your life. Stand your truth and own your truth. Is kind of this message that's coming through here. And we have a 7-7. A lot of the piles have either had 7-7 or 7-7-7 today. It's been interesting. So 7 is the number of the divine. So I'll look at that as being, these are definitely divinely guided messages coming through. All right, you guys have alternative. You have Maya, the Amazon Queen, battle. I am a devoted warrior of the universe. Like, look how awesome that picture is. Also, at the end of this reading, there'll be a selection. If you guys want to see the decks that I'm using today, I will be going over all the decks if you're curious about any of them that I use today. We have express love through gifts. A small token of love can convey great appreciation. You guys have Vindicta. Every day is a new opportunity to be more daring, a more daring version of myself. We have Justice. Nod to some Libras there. Emergence. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence, wonderment, and to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. Resilience. There's no need to rush or push. This is a time to take things as they come. You have the determination and patience to handle what is happening. We have meditation and masculine. Okay, pile 4. A lot of stuff is coming through. There's going to be probably a lot of different messages throughout this reading. So all important in their own way. So like I was talking about, and you guys have a lot of wands, so there's a lot of fire energy, a lot of passion, a lot of need to step into your power in this pile. That's been a slightly throughout all of the piles, so I think that's a collective energy. You guys also have a Knight of Wands right underneath here. So, but I'm feeling like look at this beautiful serenity. So it reminds me of like this fierce serenity, like having balance between all sides of yourself, being able to withstand anything that comes at you because you found your inner peace. And it's locking into that, locking into your truth, holding into that, and not letting anyone shake you. Not anyone push you off your pedestal. If you've worked really hard, if you guys have been putting in the work, putting into healing yourself, really building yourself, working on your self-worth, I feel like there is a lot of like work that's been done here to really see yourself and really honor yourself. It's like the evolution of healing is like your next little step is kind of what this pile is really feeling like. So I'm hearing be proud of yourself. Really, really stay put where you are. Gosh, what am I trying to say? Honoring everything you've done. I feel like some of you guys have people like coming at you, like trying to knock you off of this, like as if you don't belong there, but it's almost like they may be envious of what you've done because they haven't had the ability to do it for themselves, either work on themselves, heal themselves. So I feel like you have like some naysayers coming at you, like that are trying to like knock you off, like, and they may be calling you, some of you guys may have heard, well, you're conceited. No, you have self-confidence. There is a difference. You know your worth. You're not willing to settle anymore. You'd rather be alone in your bubble, in your peace, than put up with this drama, shallow stuff that's going on around you. And that's a beautiful place. So don't allow anyone to make you feel bad about that. Really, really stand in your power and your truth and honor that with like unshakable grace. But I feel like you guys know this, but if you're feeling any sort of tinges of guilt or anything that anyone is saying is like sinking in a little bit and causing you self-doubt, feel free to let that go. Like, you guys are rocking this journey. And if you don't feel like it, please step back and turn around for a moment and look how far you've come. Like, look how far, look at your starting point. If you've been on this healing journey and you've been on this spiritual journey, look how far you have come, and amen to that. Like, congrats, kudos for you guys. So we have this Ace of Wands. So I feel like there should be some, especially with this picture, you know, Ace of Wands is like that fiery new beginning. And this feels like this is coming from deep within your third eye here. So your connection to the divine, your connection to your gifts. So a lot of you guys could have some gifts, you know, very empathic here. But are you using them? Are you acknowledging them? So there's maybe some of you guys out there that are getting intuitive hits or downplaying your gifts a little bit. So if you're doing that, you know, let that go. Like if you're afraid to stand on this little pedestal that you belong on, you know, you may need to like give yourself that little pep talk and be like, I can do this, you know, because there's so much passion in you. There's so much drive. There's so much beauty that's in creation that's coming from your guys' third eye and your crown. That is really important that you are stepping into that divine gift that you have and honoring it in that way. And really realizing how much work that you guys have put in and really seeing everything that you've created and honoring that. You could have some more work to go. We always do. We do have these like phases that like, it looks like the moon's phases above her with this Eight of Pentacles. So also recognizing that, you know, even though we work really hard and we try really hard, we do have phases where we fall down, we don't feel good, we take a step back, and all those are okay. Our rest days are just as important on the days that we work hard. So make sure you honor yourself, and no matter what phase you are, don't be so hard on yourself. Like, you guys have done an amazing, amazing job. You are so resilient. You know, so many beautiful things are coming from all this hard work you've put in. Just know that, know that it's all going to pay off. That's kind of how that vibe is coming in. So with the Three of Pentacles, I feel like a lot of you guys are attracting your soul family at this time. This is a good time to collaborate with other people, to work together, to build something that you want to have. Whatever future, whatever steps you want to go in, I feel like, you know, taking assistance from other people would also be good to do, but make sure that they are aligned with you and your mindset and they feel good for you in your heart. We do have this Page of Cups, and I love this Page of Cups card on this deck because we have this little pig flying. So this reminds me that to remind you that nothing is outside of your reach. Nothing is impossible for you. So dream big at this time. Like truly set your aim high, because you can accomplish like anything. Again, you guys are coming from this place of so much growth, so much healing. Hate to break it to you, that never quite ends. However, we can still be proud for every step along the way we are, right? But with all that you've done, just know that there's so much stuff that's unlocking for you. It's almost like you guys are leveling up. Like I'm hearing like cheat codes. It's like you're getting like to the next level of the game of life, where some things that you may never have thought were possible for yourself are coming true. So allow yourself to float up, to allow yourself to dream big. Allow yourself, like, what is that crazy idea I have that just seems impossible? Sorry. Seems impossible. Like when pigs fly, literally your pigs are going to be flying, and there's so many blessings that are coming your way, and it's coming from this place of like synergy within your heart here. I'm so sorry. I had COVID a couple weeks ago. I went 2.5 years and never got it, and then my kids got it and I got it. So I keep getting this dry throat, so I apologize. And of course it comes on from me talking, so here we go. Again, I'm sorry. So, moral of the story here, guys, allow yourself to dream big. Allow yourself to receive. If you've been going, putting in the work, allow yourself the things that are coming to you. So, there's a message coming in about the receive and give cycle. So you guys have been putting in all the work, all the things. Make sure you're open to receiving. And we look at certain things, we're like, oh, well, I want abundance from the universe. And most of us think of that in a monetary manner. Like, I want money to flow to me from all angles, right? We all do. It just is. I mean, some of you guys may be above that. Cool, rock on. But a majority of us have a tendency to associate abundance with monetary value, right? So be on the lookout for other ways the universe is trying to share abundance with you. That might be help from other people. That might be someone giving you something. That might be someone like you winning some sort of sponsorship that helps you grow, and recognize that those are all things of the way that the universe is trying to bring abundance into your life, and accept them. So we have to, when someone wants to do something for us or even help us, some of us get in this mode, especially when you've been working really hard on yourself and been very self-reliant. We have a tendency to be like, oh no, I'm good, I don't need your help. And you don't know if the universe sent that person to help you, and maybe you're helping them fulfill something that they need along their path by helping you. I am going to get to the point here. So it's a cycle. So giving and receiving from the universe is a cycle. So you have to make sure you're open to receiving in multiple different ways, so you don't block yourself from receiving abundance in the way that you're maybe tunnel visioning in on. So just keep that in mind. Sometimes we ask for these things and like all these amazing things show up, but we're like thinking about this one thing. Like, don't get tunnel vision here. Realize that the universe is bringing in abundance in all kinds of ways. Just make sure you're open and receptive to all forms of that. And that is involving help from other people. I think that's really big. For some of you guys that, again, have been so self-reliant, just know that you don't always have to be, and allow someone to help you too. You probably help other people, and that feels a little more comfortable for you. But again, it's part of that cycle, is allowing and receiving help from other people. So that's a big thing that you need to open up to, so more things unlock for you. So the Seven of Cups here, So you could have a lot of options coming in if you felt kind of stagnant, or you didn't feel like you had a lot of different things to really like choices, like your choices have felt limited. I feel like that's going to be changing as you move through things in your life. But I'm hearing like, be open. This kind of goes into this message that was coming up before. Be open to all the different types. Like really like step back and be like, okay, what have I been trying to like call into my life, manifest into my life? Has it shown up in maybe a way that you didn't quite think of? And be like, oh, wow. Like, because sometimes we're like, oh, well, I've been wanting to manifest this cake, and I've been thinking about this cake, and I want this cake, and I've asked the universe for this cake. I haven't gotten the cake. Oh, this doesn't work. But then you don't realize that the universe is giving you the eggs, the flour, the oil, the whatever is needed in a cake recipe. You get my point. Sometimes we get all the ingredients and we actually have to do the work to put it together, but in the end, we get the cake. So it's realizing that, as you're getting all these things that you want, you might be getting all the pieces to build what you want. So keep an eye out for that. So that's kind of also we run into alternatives. So there may be other things coming in. It might not look exactly what you thought. Like the universe is very tricky. God works in mysterious ways. You've heard all these sayings for probably your whole life because they're true, So this is like realizing that there's an alternative. There's another meaning to this card I'll get into, but there's an alternative way of looking at what you've been wanting and realizing how it is coming into your life and how you have been manifesting this whole time and how things are starting to work out and you didn't even realize it. So open your eyes to that. Also, for some of you guys, I'm being guided to say, like, if you've been curious about getting into different like energy work or alternative energy healing, like different forms of like Reiki, things like that, either getting that done in yourself or learning to do it. I think Reiki level 1 is a very, very cool course to take, because then you can, once you're attuned, you can do Reiki on yourself. If you've never received a Reiki session, I suggest look into that. There's usually practitioners wherever you live, or you can get distance Reiki done. I do know people. I'm attuned to do Reiki. I just haven't opened that up for my services yet, but eventually I'll be doing a certain type of energy healing modality that's of my own, but that's not the point right now. So this is for you guys. Look into that. So if you're curious about, you're like, oh, I like Reiki, but I can't afford to get it done all the time, look at getting Reiki level 1 done and getting attuned to that. And then you can do it on yourself every day. Like doing Reiki, self Reiki is extremely beneficial. I love getting it done from other people, but I'm also thankful that I can do that for myself every single day, or I try to every single day. Let's be honest here. But this is an alternative form of healing. If also you're dealing with some stuff, like you're like sluggish or whatever, I don't know, some people might have been to the doctor and you might not be able to get like traditional, like you can't find anything that's wrong, but something's wrong. You may need to get some energetic work done, or possibly look into some alternative doctors, or like acupuncture, things like that. I'm hearing like just an alternative form of medicine may be helpful for you, that you might not have considered just yet. So if you have something that they can't quite put their finger on, like in the Western medical world, maybe look into some other modalities just to help you along. If you're having issues in certain areas of your body, look at what chakras, even if you're not familiar with what a chakra is, you can look up like shoulder pain and associated chakra, and it'll tell you that it's the throat chakra. And then you can look into that, and usually the thing is, are you speaking your truth? Are you expressing yourself? Do you have a blocked throat chakra? You can look into things like that. So also correlating where a physical pain in your body could be, and a lot of times is attached to some sort of emotional part that's been stored in your body. There is a book I have, it's called The Body Keeps the Score. So if you have stuff like that where you're like, okay, I feel stuff and they can't figure out what's wrong, and I know something's wrong with, doesn't feel right in my body, maybe look into that book, because we store emotions in our body. Like if you don't actually feel with them or deal with some of your emotions, they get trapped in your body and stored, and it shows up eventually as physical pain. So look into that as well. So alternative forms of healing. So yeah, we have this Amazon Queen battle. I'm devoted warrior of the universe. So I think you guys are just badasses in this pile. You've been through it. You're a warrior. You're fierce. If you don't feel like that, stand into it. If you've been there for a long time, heed this other information. Please allow other people to help you. Just because you're reliant and you can do it for yourself doesn't always mean you have to. Allow yourself or allow other people to help you when they can. But just know that you can do it on your own, but you don't always have to, as the way that message is coming in. Gosh, I love this card so much. I have to hold this up again. So awesome. She looks awesome. Okay, so we have express love through gifts. Small tokens of love can convey great appreciation. So you may be guided to, show your love for those around you in a physical way, like as in like a little gift, little tokens of appreciation. I'm hearing thoughtful gifts could be important at this time. But then I'm getting a totally different message about this card that's coming in. So we see this pearl here, and it's just a gentle reminder. And you can use this analogy with diamonds as well. Diamonds start off as a piece of coal, and under pressure is when they become a diamond. A pearl, it starts off as a piece of sand, and then over time, over friction, all that stuff becomes a pearl. I'm sure there's a way more technical, so don't come at me on like the exact, if I'm missing stuff on that. But the concept is it starts off as one thing and under pressure becomes this beautiful thing. So this very much is like you. You've been through, or you could be, and you could be in the middle of this. Like I could be talking about all this stuff. You're like, I'm not there yet. Just know you're going to get there. But if you've been under all this pressure, it's because you're going to come out more beautiful than you could ever imagine. You are going to be the most rare, precious, like pearl or diamond from everything you've been through. So it all will, you'll understand it all. Or you might be getting in a place where you're starting to understand why you went through everything you went through. I have not had an easy life. A lot of people tend to think because of my sunny disposition, I've had like this easy life. I have not. I will tell you that very, very truthfully. I don't dwell in it, but it made me who I am. And a lot of the things I've experienced was for me to help other people. So you might be one of those people where you're like, why did that happen to me? It's because your experience was for you to help, shine or aid or give a gift to somebody else. This could be like a very, figurative kind of thing where the gift that you are, your experiences, the things that you've been through are going to help other people. And really honor that and really realize what a gift it is. What a gift of everything you've been through, everything that's made you the unique, beautiful, amazing person that you are, the pearl that you are, that is a gift to other people. And if you can use your past experiences to help others, and you feel drawn to do that, then do that. Like if you feel pulled to do that, then do it, because you are a gift. And those experiences that shaped you are a gift as well, even the really bad ones. And I know that's a hard concept to grasp. And if you're not there yet, don't worry about it. But you can get there, and it is worth getting there. So your next card is every day is a new opportunity to be a more daring version of myself. So you're also being, I know we want to stay in this bubble and we want to stay like our peaceful self, but also don't forget to get out and be your badass self. You guys are a badass, a spiritual badass, a spiritual gangster kind of vibe that's coming through with this like so elevated, so like I'm just lucky to be in your guys' energy right now. It's pretty amazing. So don't forget to step into that power and really go out there and be that badass version of yourself, because you have rocked this thing called life. You might not have feel it, you might not see it all the time, but you have rocked it, and make sure that you're really like owning that and embracing it. So we have justice here. So this is a message about keeping your balance. I know I'm telling you to go out with the extremes, but we have like this balance, but also just know that things are going to even out. You don't have to, I'm getting an interesting message about revenge or resentments and things like that. And letting those things go, letting some angers go, and balancing yourself back out. This feels very specific, so it might just be for a few of you guys. So if you don't resonate with this, let this go. But for those of you, don't come at me. This is a triggering message. However, you need to let some of the anger go. If you're holding anger and resentment against somebody, you're not hurting that person. That person doesn't feel it. You're hurting yourself. You're damaging your heart. You're holding in all this pain, resentment, anger for what? It's damaging you. So if you can, do your best to let that go, even out, balance out. You don't even have to forgive them in person, but forgive them enough to allow those feelings to go. It doesn't mean that you have to let those people back in your life or allow that to happen to you again. Again, you guys have worked through some stuff, but if you're still holding on to any of the anger or resentment of, why did life happen? Why did this happen to me? Blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. You're just damaging yourself and holding yourself back for something that you can't change anyways. So all you can change is your mindset around it and your path forward. I get that that's a big ask. I get that that's not a simple thing, but you guys obviously know that you guys can get through anything. So let that shit go. Sorry, let that stuff go. I'm trying my best not to cuss. This is like a cussing message. I love cuss words, but I'm on YouTube, so I'm trying not to. But that's just because there's so much passion behind this message. Like, do not hold yourself back with anger and resentments over stuff that you can't change and what people did to you. Or, was it fair? More than likely not. Was it okay? No. Did you deserve it? No. And I get that you're mad about that, and it's okay, but don't let that anger hold you back. Let it go, because all it is damaging yourself. That's it. All right. Trying to see if there's anything else, or my guides won't let me move on past that. And again, I want to reiterate that they know, the universe knows, that it wasn't fair and you didn't deserve it, but it's happened, and don't let it hold you back anymore at all, because you're doing yourself a disservice. You're letting it win again and again and again and again every time you allow that to hold you back. And I'm sorry that these things happened, and I get it, but don't let it steal any more of your time. Okay? All right. Moving on. Let me wipe the tears from my eyes. All right. Glad I haven't done my makeup yet. All right, guys. We have another 7 here. Okay. Emergence. Sorry if anyone, hopefully, I'm sorry if that was triggering. Anyway, okay. The frequency of emergence invites us to approach our reality with a childlike attitude of innocence and wonderment, to watch and celebrate the beauty that unfolds from that place. So this is about, seeing life through a new perspective. Some of you guys may have had this is going back to this last message, may have had part of your childhood stolen from you. So reclaim it now. Look at the world with new eyes. Look at it. Approach your life with a childlike wonderment. Play again. There's no limit on how long you can play. Play now. Live your life now. Do everything in your control to be the best version of yourself, because those people don't hold you back anymore. And you can step into... Okay. You can step into this life with such power, and you get to own it, because you're no longer stuck there, and you're not going to be stuck there because you're letting it go. And you're going to step into your life and emerge into your life and really, really enjoy it. And if you want to say, hold up your middle finger and say F you to the past, because I'm owning my future, I'm owning my present, I'm owning where I'm going, and I'm not letting it. So F off. Baggage, past, crap, old story. Really step into, because you own and you control your life now. Don't let it control you anymore. Really, really, really see your life through new eyes. Okay. Resilience. With this said, so I need you to give grace to yourself. If you're one of these people that have been through this, that you know what I'm speaking about, give yourself grace and allow things to unfold as you shift and change and balance out and become this new version of yourself. There's no need to rush it. You don't have to push hard. You've already pushed hard. You've already rushed enough. You've already done so much in your life. Kind of try to go with the flow and just know that you have the determination and the patience to handle anything that's happening. Look at everything you've been through in your life. Moving forward, we're going to go with the flow, but honor it, and honor it from a place of love, from a place of being in charge of where you've been and where you're going, because you have healed so much that it all is just going to be smooth sailing from now on. I'll use this one last, but so we have the masculine here. It's a masculine energy. We all have feminine and masculine energy within us. This is also coming into balance with. So if you've been in this mode where you've had to like just really lean into your masculine energy, no matter what your gender is, if you've had to be the doer, this is also about, we had a message about receiving. That's a divine feminine trait, is opening up to receive. So if you've been in your masculine for too long, sometimes that just feels awkward. So you can allow it, just like look at it as like, okay, I need to find the balance between the two. I may have like had to do my whole life and be resilient and all this stuff, but you're being asked to find the balance there and allow other people to help. Be receptive, nurture your divine feminine side a little bit. Again, we have both of those. Earth is polarity. That's what we're here in Earth School to learn duality. That's what 3D is duality. So finding the balance between, your feminine and your masculine. For those of you guys that you felt a victim, you felt too much like you didn't have any power, then you're on the opposite side where you need to step into that masculine energy and really own and cherish. But I don't feel like there's too many of you guys. I feel like most of you guys are, because you've had to be on your own for so long. Again, be proud of yourself, but also allow, step more into allowing versus doing. We have meditation. Take a moment to connect with source through quiet reflection and meditation. So obviously meditation is very important. I'm a big advocate of meditation. So you're being guided to make sure you tune into that. Meditation doesn't always just look like sitting there in half lotus. Zenful. You can be in a meditative state by doing repetitive things or anything that kind of just puts you in a meditative, like Zen-like state. For some people, that's for me, when I'm like cleaning or doing dishes or vacuuming, for some reason that is a very like repetitive, calming thing. I have a friend that makes dream catchers. For her, that's a form of meditation. I have a friend that when they work out, that's their form of meditation. Just know that meditation can look differently. It doesn't just have to look like that. Just know when you get in that state of like a meditative kind of like, you know what I'm talking about. Like some people that's walking, things like that, just like where you're just like kind of zenned out. Be mindful and reflective about any messages that you're getting during that time. You could be getting downloads and stuff like that, or just use it for strictly for balancing back out. I want to pull one more card for you guys. As just one last message from the universe to pile 4. Thank you guys so much if you're still here. I know this is a longer reading. I appreciate it. I think a powerful one, a very needed message. But let's see, what else does pile 4 need to hear at this time, please? We have Me Talks, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. How cool that picture is. This is the shaman's dream. I will have a video again of every all the decks that I used today. If you're curious, just look for that in the timestamps. It says, actually it'll come up right after this reading. Me Talks, eliminating toxic thinking, repairing the body, mind, and spirit, cleaning house. That's funny, I just talked about cleaning house. Okay. When the Me Talks card appears, it challenges you to discard the deep, dearly held judgments that have passed over yourself and others. Release the people who you feel have wronged or offended you. All right, got chills. Told you it's not, I'm just the messenger. Recognize that they mirror the shadow aspects of your own soul. Yes, that's a tough pill to swallow. Only then can you cull from life the toxic people you have allowed. Blah, blah, blah. Only then can you cull from your life I think it's supposed to be pull. I think that's a typo. Pull from your life the toxic people you have allowed into your inner circle. It's time for cleaning of your proverbial house. Get rid of the thoughts and personal judgments poisoning your mind. Eliminate inauthentic beliefs of others you've adopted as your own. Do so before your mind makes you sick. And empty your literal cupboards of the unhealthy junk food poisoning your body. Fast for one day or skip a meal to allow your body to cleanse itself and get rid itself of toxins. Detox appears as a warning that you can no longer postpone the self-care and pampering you long for. It is time now. Do healthy maintenance on your body before you have to make repairs that you will never quite recover from. Detox has come to caution you that it is not too late, but you are in the 11th hour. Do not deprive yourself of your health you deserve. Again, we talked about alternative healing. So, yeah, it's very important to look into that, guys. So, all right, I will end this now because this is very long reading. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Even if you throw me some emojis, that helps my algorithm. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for handling that message. I know it was a tough one, and sending you guys lots of love. Mwah. Hello, 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 my lovely friends. We are going over what decks were used today in the reading. So, actually, I'll start with my tarot decks. This is the Light Seers Tarot. This was used on pile number 4. Amazing imagery. It's by a deck creator called Chris Ann. I love her decks. I have 3 tarot, 1 oracle deck of hers. All her stuff has a symbolism on here. She's Pixie Curio on Instagram. Really cool human. But yeah, the Light Seers Tarot that we used for pile 4. Pile 3, another Chris Ann deck. This is called the Tarot of the Curious Creatures. Super cool imagery. Super awesome. Again, love all her decks. Very, very cool. For pile 2, had the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. It's a very neat imagery. I really like this deck. It's really neat. That's called Cosmic Slumber. I do have the box for that one right here. So it looks like that. And then, I love all these decks. Deck 1, this is the Santa Muerte Tarot. Now I'm worried that I called it Santa Maria in the deck. Anyways, it's Santa Muerte deck. Super, super cool. Like, amazing imagery. Awesome deck. Like, I have an obsession with the Day of the Dead. So I've had that since I was actually a little kid. Been obsessed with that. Because, I mean, I guess I'll explain that. I had a teacher when I was younger that was from Mexico, and she explained to us the Day of the Dead, and we had a little celebration in our class. I don't remember. I was probably like maybe middle school. And it was the first time I ever heard about death. And this is back before, like, it's, you know, now it's popular more in America. I had never heard of it at the time. This was back in the, I'm going to age myself, back in the early 90s. And, you know, cocoa wasn't popular, all that stuff, like people didn't dress up in sugar skulls and stuff like that. But it was the first time I heard about death in a beautiful way. The way she described it in the celebration of life, it was like celebrating life. And the way I'd always seen death is just like funerals and miserable and everybody's brokenhearted and just this horrible thing. And it was like, again, the first time I'd ever heard about death in any way in cemeteries in a non-scary, sad way. It was just this beautiful celebration of people that had passed away. And so I've been obsessed with that since I was young. So those are the tarot decks. This is the box for Santa Muerte. Looks like that. Sorry. Okay, so we'll start over here. This is, I can't remember. Where is my box? Oh, there it is. Sorry, I have 2 similar decks, so I want to make sure I say it right. This is the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle. So it looks like this. Very cool deck. Next, this was the overall guidance that we used at the end. This is the Shaman's Dream Oracle. Super, super cool imagery, really cool messages. Very, very cool. Very, very cool deck. I'm probably going to say that about all of them. I love them all. I have like 200 decks, so don't judge me. This is a really fun, playful deck. This is the Pixiekins Daily Inspiration deck. And these are like, have like cool little kind of funky drawings and a good little message, like a day filled with laughter is a day well spent, you know, things like that. Kind of playful, but kind of like very Tim Burton whimsical kind of illustrations, or at least it reminds me of his kind of stuff, that kind of vibe. Next we have the Queen of the Moon Oracle. So these cards, so beautiful. I mean, like, so beautiful. Like, this is probably the reason why I have so many decks. They're just so stunning. So this is the Queen of the Moon Oracle. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Goes over different moon phases. I have the Moonology decks, which I love them, but this is one I don't see as often. For a lot of people have the Moonology decks, but this is a different, really cool moon deck if you're, you know, a person that loves like moon cycles. This is a really cool one to have. Next we have the Whispers of Love Oracle, which I really dig. I have not used that forever. That was one of my one of my early decks. And this Whispers of Healing. So I used to use these a lot when I first started my channel, and I haven't pulled them out in a while, so I figured it would be a good time. So these are the imagery for that. These are both by the same creators. Sorry, they're by Angela Hartfield, and the artwork is Josephine Wall. So those decks. Next we have the Star Temple Oracle, which has super cool imagery. Shocking. I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. I love all my decks, but very, very cool deck. The little small messages were these star seed, it's just called star seeds. Wisdom for spiritual growth cards. The star seed cards. I have a bunch of little decks like this. They're all really, really cool. But this is the star seed one. Next we have is the Spellcaster's Oracle deck. So all of these cards, very cool deck. I like this deck. I use this deck quite a bit. It's good for, especially if you're an intuitive reader. It gives a lot of good imagery. Also, so you can like really tap into the intuitive nature that comes through when you channel information in that way. So I like that. Again, that's called the Spellcasting Oracle deck. And last but not least, we have the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck by Angela Hartfield, the same as the Whispers of Healing and the Whispers of Love deck. Same creator. Beautiful images. Shocking. But really, really cool decks. So those are all the decks that I used today. So I guess it's going to be about all I do. Eventually I will do like a full like behind the scenes video, and I'll actually chat with you guys so you guys can see me. I don't know, a lot of people for whatever reason like that. I don't think it matters what I look like. I think the message is more important, but I'm cool with it. So a lot of people have been urging me to get in some videos. So I'll probably eventually do a full behind the scenes, just to kind of like my process, a chit chat. I might open it up to, before I do that, some questions from you guys about me. And so I can do a little question and answer kind of thing, and I'll kind of just do a video about that eventually. But then you can see my whole card collection, my crystal collection, what I do, and if you care, I don't know. I don't think it's that important, but a lot of people are curious. So I'm like, okay, I'm not that important. Just the messenger. But if you want to see, the messenger behind the message, I'll eventually do that. That little video as well for you guys. All right. I hope everybody has a lovely day, and bye guys.